All right, and welcome back to the weekly Skittles crypto call. We have a limited desk this week, limited panel, but we're going to run through the latest in space news and crypto, talk about anything and everything that's relevant. Hedge fund manager Cody Willard, how you doing over there?
I'm excellent. How about you?
Super. And we got Bryce Smith, hedge fund analyst, down here.
Hello.
How you doing, sir?
Hello. How are y'all?
Good. We got a few topics to talk about. I mean, where we want to go, we usually decide right at the top. We want to do space. We want to do like overall crypto.
Why don't we start with crypto? Let's hit on crypto first, and then we'll move to space, and then we can hit even a couple of stock things that you were wanting to discuss, I believe.
Oh, I was just joking about the stock things, but crypto. So, correct me if I'm wrong, but from our just on the fly pool last week, was it Cody who pretty much nailed the 24-hour action?
Oh, I don't think so. I thought Bryce did.
Bryce
I thought
did?
it was Bryce who called it. I thought
it was
Bryce
one of
said,
you two.
I said like a 5% sell the news was my thought. I don't.
Right.
Yeah, I don't. And frankly, I made a prediction the week before last week, and then I changed it last week. So I didn't know what.
Well, one of you two was correct.
I'm not taking credit for anything. I had too many predictions. Let's put it this way: we traded it well. We sold. So we rolled out of our Beto, which is a Bitcoin futures ETF. Just to rewind a little bit, I've been personally an investor in Bitcoin since 2013. My hedge fund launched in 2019. 2019.
Yeah.
Is that right, Bryce? And we could not at the time buy Bitcoin for the hedge fund because of the custodial problems. I can't tell my investors I have that I'm keeping it at Coinbase or that I'm got it in a hard
Cody
wallet.
has it on his Trezor.
Yeah, so we were using Beto, which we felt like had at the time the lowest fee structure, but it used Bitcoin futures, and we felt like it was a pretty good, less risky kind of way to get exposure for our hedge fund to Bitcoin. As of last week, when they rolled out real Bitcoin ETFs that actually not owning Bitcoin futures, but hold the actual product, custodied at Coinbase, most of them. We went ahead and we started rolling out of the Beto and slowly but surely buying. We chose IBIT. The fees there, 20, 25 bips, Bryce?
Yeah, 25 bips.
Yeah, when the Beto had 90 bips of annual fees, not to mention they had to roll over their futures every month. And so we'd end up paying taxes and getting dividends and things from the Beto. We didn't want any of that. We just want to hodl our Bitcoin. So we are now slowly but surely rolling into the IBIT ETF, which is the Blackstone, BlackRock ETF. It's slowly but surely. We have not bought back. We're out of Beto entirely, but we have not bought as much IBIT yet.
Yeah, there was a great summary for those trading with Cody investors that broke down pretty much a lot of the different products that are out there now, and it's a great read for anybody involved with that platform.
On that note, just one. Cabana,
sure.
Could I know?
I was going to ask one more. Go ahead.
We'll be happy to make that. What you're saying, Bryce wrote a fantastic article last week that said, here's why we're selling Beto and moving to IBIT, and here are all of the Bitcoin ETF possibilities for you retail readers of this, and frankly institutional readers of that product, my tradingwithcody.com product. We'd be happy to make that free for everyone. You guys just go to tradingwithcody.com. We'll put it up at the top underneath the free articles section. Bryce, you know where to do that, I think. Sure. Down at the bottom of each, as you're editing it, you can just change it to not protected.
Yep,
for sure.
Or you talk to us on Twitter. Ask us on Twitter for it. Now, Cabana, I interrupted you. What were you about to say?
I was going to say, don't forget to tweet out and share out the links too for that. That way, there'll be a nice little traffic grab. Just a quick question on that part before we move on. So the taxes versus dividends, I know, and the fees, I guess dividends can offset some of those fees. It's a the Beto dividend is a dynamic dividend, so it's not consistent every month. So you don't really know what you're getting, but some months you do really good. Some months you can be like, there was nothing. So,
but in the same way, if you hold a Bitcoin ETF that's not rolling futures, you don't get the dividend, but the capital appreciation is going to be reflected, and you're not paying taxes on that dividend, plus the fees.
Yeah.
So we were very excited, frankly, as institutional investors to be able to finally get real Bitcoin exposure through the BlackRock ETF. I think there are some of the crypto bros out there and the crypto ladies and anywhere in between, however someone might identify themselves as a crypto person. I think a lot of them are worried that the Wall Street ETF power is going to ruin the whole concept of blockchain and decentralization. There's an argument to be made there. Wall Street guys, they can destroy anything if they figure out a way to make money on it.
Well, I guess I agree with that, but on the bullish side, would it also mean that a lot of these coins are going into accounts that won't be, trading and swapping and selling them off any whim either? So volatility could be reduced, and overall, with long-term accumulation, a long-term bullish for the asset.
Perhaps I would push back only. I think you're right on the concept, like on a cursory level, but I'd push back just a little bit. I think Bryce and I all the time talk about how there are sellers lower and buyers higher, which most anything. DWAC is a stock that it's a Trump. It's the one that's supposed to take Trump's SPAC, DSPAC with Trump's Truth Social Network. It was up 35% today. There were buyers when it was up 30%, taking it to 35%. It ended the day up 2%. Those guys who were buying it higher were ready and willing to sell it lower. And I think that might get a broader adoption initially here could, at least initially for the first 6 months or a year, create more volatility, because the weak-handed Bitcoin ETF buyers right now, they're ready and willing to sell it if it's down 5%, maybe 10%, and then that selling pressure could take it down another 5 or 10%.
And we come down, I guess, an initial 5%, but we're kind of like flagging out here between 42, 43,000 near term. I know it's, Bitcoin's a long-term game, but since we talked near term last week, just, the next few months, I guess, up into the halvening, you kind of just see like flat to lower or flat to higher?
Flat to lower. I'm there. Look, man, from a broader macro trader perspective, the average retail trader is so cocky right now, so bulled up on crypto right now, so bulled up on crypto miners. They think everything is going to work out fine. It's all going to be $1 trillion and it's going to be easy. And like, the world doesn't work like that. Wall Street is literally set up to take money from the euphoric retail investor anytime the retail investor gets euphoric. I think there's a lot of misplaced bad mojo in this crypto market right now, probably in small caps too, in general. And that dynamic sets us up for some pain, some crypto pain near term, maybe even over the course of this whole year. We're going to look, do you remember in 2002, in the year 2000, .com bubble, every retail trader, I was 25 or something, at 28 at the time. And like, every retail unemployed person became a day trader of .com stocks. And for a few months, they were all geniuses and made a ton of money. By 2002, you wouldn't admit you were a day trader. You were the butt of every investor's joke. You like the .com, like even on, I wrote about it maybe 10 years ago on South Park. There was an episode where they made fun of one of the guys for buying Amazon.com. Like, who would ever buy Amazon.com? And they all laughed about it. It was the butt of the joke. That cycle has yet to play out. As bad as crypto got, it wasn't embarrassing for people to admit they were in crypto at the bottom last year. And I'm not sure small caps or Bitcoin or crypto specifically, mostly crypto, is going to bottom until it's embarrassing for people to say they own and trade crypto.
Hot take from hedge fund manager Cody Willard. There you go. Want to move on to some space news or any other crypto commentary? I guess we had the Coinbase and SEC yelling back and forth at each other. Not really yelling, but they're
then they sort of. But Bryce has got me convinced, and I think it's some good analysis on his part that Coinbase and Armstrong, they've been given a free pass. Get out of jail free card, right, Bryce? I mean, the fact that BlackRock is custodying, the hell is that verb?
Custody.
Is the custodian, use it as a noun? I don't know.
Fine. Because Coinbase is the custodian for the BlackRock ETF. Can the SEC now then in 2 weeks finally grow some balls and prosecute real crime? No.
I've never been.
He's never going to prosecute anybody except for maybe Richard Hart, who should go down because he broke a lot of laws, but so should Brian Armstrong. So I don't know.
Well, speaking of Richard Hart, I guess he hired a team of lawyers, like 11 strong, and has finally engaged. Yeah, finally engaged with the SEC. So that's another twist. We mention that every few weeks here, but it'll be fun to monitor. That one.
He didn't come back to the U.S. He just had his attorneys reply, and then he tweeted about it. Is that right?
Yeah, pretty much. Yep.
Bryce, did you want to add anything about Brian Armstrong and Coinbase?
Yeah, just that it's not just the BlackRock ETF. I think Coinbase was chosen as the custodian for like eight of the 11 or 7 of the 11 different ETFs that were approved. So the SEC can't just be play ignorant. They had, when they approved all of those, they knew where that Bitcoin was going to be going.
Would you guys be impressed or disgusted if Gary Gensler actually turned around and then prosecuted Armstrong?
Quite disgusted.
I think I would be disgusted too. Cody's going to say he would be impressed.
Oh yeah, he would.
Yeah, he's
frozen with being impressed.
He's so impressed.
He's so impressed he just stopped.
That's funny.
Come back to us, Cody. Come back. Start have to get the.
Yeah, he is. He is frozen.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
just like more
space news.
Sorry,
That's
like mortgagee, I guess. Custody. Is that what you're saying, Bryce? Custody.
It's custody.
Custody.
Yeah.
Okay. I guess Cody is gonna reconnect.
Let me see. He's calling. Hello, you're on speaker.
It dropped. Did my internet go out?
Yeah, we're all here.
Oh. Well, now I'm all sad. I want to be involved.
Well, they can hear you, so.
Yes. We have the space news queued up. I thought Cody might have had that, so we lost that. But I can share.
Yeah, well, we were going to talk about. There's a couple things, but Rocket Lab had a launch scheduled for today, I think it was, and they're having to move that out until the 27th because of some weather issues. And I was just talking with Cody. We love Rocket Lab. We're investors in Rocket Lab, but it's like they struggle to really launch consistently, and like SpaceX might launch as many as 150 to 180 times this year, and it's like how is SpaceX able to do that? Because weather and stuff comes up all the time. There's Cody, and so like weather issues come up all the time, and I'm sure they come up for SpaceX too. But somehow they're still able to launch regularly and semi-regularly, and other companies like Rocket Lab, it really has 10 days is a pretty substantial delay, I think.
That's a great point,
Why-
Bryce.
I was gonna say, why is that, Cody? Is just
I wish Dan were here to confirm this, but my theory is that the SpaceX, is it the Electron that they have right now? The Neutron's going to be the new one. I get them backwards.
Yes.
The Electron is smaller enough than it's smaller than the Falcon 9, the Falcon, certainly much smaller than the Falcon Heavy, and it, you could probably fit in 50 neutrons inside of a starship. So I would think that weather is like there's a lower threshold of weather tolerance, bad weather tolerance for the smaller rockets than SpaceX's rockets. That's my working theory. I would imagine SpaceX could launch even when the Electron can't because of size.
That's right.
Mass.
Bigger ship handles the bad storm better than a dinghy.
Right. I mean, picture a boat, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like if you're on a dinghy in the middle of the North Atlantic, you're in trouble, right?
If you take your Cybertruck and try to make the cross-Atlantic route, you're probably not going to make it. But if you take a container ship, but have you guys ever seen? There's some clips on Twitter. I'm sure it's on YouTube too, where there's like giant.
He going. Actually, we just do him full screen. Just like, oh no, we lost the video. Okay,
he's right
so
there.
He's just like,
what is this? What?
There it is.
My internet. I blame SpaceX. Starlink. Must be them.
But we're bullish Starlink.
Oh, I love the Starlink. I was kidding. I don't even have Starlink here at the office. That's at my house, which is rural. I'm in the city. I'm in a small town, but I am in the town itself where we have fiber to my office. So I have good speeds here at my office from a local provider. But frankly, it's not as good as my SpaceX Starlink at my house.
I
So
saw
back
that
on-
somebody
Go ahead.
just real quick, just on that. Somebody said that Starlink is going to offer like a new service with a gigantic antenna for a small town that will be the fastest internet of all forms of internet.
So I used to design telecom networks back in a prior life. And we used to model out, I created this giant model 23 years ago where you could turn the knobs, how far the average house was, the average end user was from your central telecom internet network. And the further you get, obviously, it adds costs because you have to dig and then lay pipe and then put fiber optic in the conduit to get to that house or to that neighborhood. When I saw the tweet from Starlink itself this weekend, I guess it was, might have even been last night, where they talked about for 1.2, I might be messing up the numbers, but the order of magnitude is right. It's like $1.25 million up front and several tens of $1,000s a month for, was it 10 gigabit per second internet speed? And
I'm going to Google it.
I quickly ran through the numbers in my head from my past life, trying how would that model out? And my gosh, it would work. Like it would be so much cheaper to just spend $1 million and have that, especially if you're on an island somewhere, a remote island, or maybe a small town. Most small towns have some internet, maybe some microwave backhaul to make the internet broadband work. But the SpaceX new offering, Starlink's new offering for telcos, it's for ISPs. It's not a retail product, obviously, at a $1 million upfront payment. But for an ISP, like this is a death knell. We used to be short Charter because I'm pretty sure Starlink and SpaceX are going to kill Charter and Comcast. And, maybe in New York City, Charter is going to keep some market share. But anywhere else, if you're not in a major NFL city, your internet's not always very good, and Starlink is going to help. and it's going to, a lot of people, millions, tens of millions of United States households will be moving to Starlink.
I can't find the dang tweet.
It's under
You know what I'm-
Starlink, not SpaceX. I think Starlink has their own Twitter, maybe.
Let's try.
And just circling back on Rocket Lab really quick, I guess the good news or good spin on it, I hate the term spin, but it's a weather delay. It's not a technical or equipment delay, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's,
That's
some
a good, I mean, and right, like that's better than if they were like, oh, we were about to launch and now we realized we didn't fix that thing that messed us up the last time.
We're going to
That
have
would be
to hire the FAA and Boeing's crew to come in and,
Oh my God.
what a mess there.
Ain't nobody hiring Boeing to come fix their problems.
The crew that FAA that
I know.
came
I'm
in to
just-
examine Boeing.
Yeah. Okay, so here it is. Here's the data on the new.
Here, Bryce, hit share, present, and
Okay.
share that screen, please.
It was from that Sawyer guy. That's the that's who tweeted it. You know, I'm
That
talking
guy
about.
saw your merit.
Yeah.
He is like, I bet he's got 10 million followers or something. That guy has become like the Tesla guy.
Yeah, no, and like it's like his full time job. He posted about his like how much he was making or something at some point at the end of last year.
Because of X paying him now.
Yeah, I guess so.
It's cool.
So
There
here,
you go.
can you all see this or not?
Yeah, it's there.
Yeah. So it's a community gateway. You pay 1.25 million up front and 75,000 per gigabit per second per month. Is that right?
Well, it's what he means. I guess, yeah, maybe you could pay 150,000 and have 2 gigabits per second per month.
Okay.
Well, look, it's 2 gigabits per second, and the monthly payment is 75,000. And then if you want more, it's probably more.
Okay.
Which another thing, while we're on this all, so I sent Bryce over the weekend. I don't know if you got the rest of you guys saw it. I probably should have shared it in the Slack channel. Elon gave a company presentation for an hour-long company update to the SpaceX team. Employees. And it was all, always, it's very cool to listen to him pontificate and show his successes and to sort of calibrate your own like expectations. And he's like, hey, it's this and we do this. Or it's like, hey, we're 90% of all mass being sent to orbit now. And just 2 years ago, we were 10% of all mass being sent to orbit. That type of stuff is always very fascinating. But what really stood out on this call to me on his presentation was a boring thing he just mentioned in passing. He was like, here's the new version 2 small satellite for Starlink. And it's going to do 1.8 gigabit per second instead of half that. We doubled the throughput. And he just moves right on. But like every year, they're like, let's make our satellites better. And the thing about those satellites up there, 10% of them every year deorbit and burn up in the atmosphere. So they have to replace 10% every year anyway. But the fact that they're replacing them with ever better satellites that have ever more technology and throughput, and now these new satellites, they sent 6 satellites up 2 weeks ago that are going to allow T-Mobile customers to send text messages from anywhere. That stuff's amazing. So you can just picture in a year and a half, 2 years, the satellite capabilities that Starlink is going to have will probably enable T-Mobile people to make voice calls and have some decent megabit per second bandwidth to their smartphone, even on Bryce's ranch in the middle of Caballo, New Mexico.
Yeah, it'd be really a game changer.
Yeah.
For people out in the ocean, I mean, you have internet in the ocean, right? All the time.
Well, and they already have at least, SpaceX Starlink is already offering Wi-Fi access. You buy a mobile thing and put it on your boat and you get it. But to have it on your phone without that, no matter where you are.
Like the whole thing of like you shipwrecked and you're stuck on Gilligan's Island, right? That won't happen maybe because you have your phone with you. You can just like, hey, our shipwrecks, we're on the island. I'll send you my pin.
Unless you don't have any solar panels on your boat, and then your electricity is going to be out.
Once
and
your
you can't
phone
do
dies,
anything.
you've got a short window there to make that call.
Yeah, well, you better have some solar. You better have some solar batteries somewhere. So, all right, guys, we filled up a full 30 minutes almost. So, hi, Sanatsi. Sanatsi, don't be bringing up any logistical bullshit that you want us to fix, man. Come on, man.
Logistical no, it's not logistical bullshit that needs to be fixed. I was just gonna say that I know I'm late. I'm gonna start the monthly rewards. I'll do it tonight, and then I'll text Piper.
So,
He's
Nazi,
having,
I'm
baby
kidding. I
problems.
hope you know. I felt so guilty after I just made that joke. I hope you know I'm still 100% joking. We appreciate you keeping us. You keep our ducks in a row. You dot our I's, you cross our T's, and you have from day one. And I really thank you for always helping and keeping us on the straight and narrow, man. Thank you.
Pleasure.
Yeah. But I do like to tease you too, especially because you actually did laugh and enjoyed the joke. So it's good. My dad would have gotten mad if I gave him shit. So Bryce
I don't
gets
know
mad.
how the weather is like, where you're at right now. It's really cold in Atlanta, and we live in an old house off a lake, a 15.5-acre lake, and about half the surface of the lake was frozen.
Wow.
So
in Atlanta?
Yes, it is.
Have you ever seen that before, Sanatsi?
Yeah, it happened, a few years ago. Like it was like 14
degrees.
Yeah, I mean, 14 degrees. It's really cold. It's unusual. So, I have the insert fireplace going downstairs. So
nice.
Yeah.
It's a little chilly here. It's like 61 in Florida, so it's
yeah, cold.
So did you move?
No. But
yeah,
this is my second place of residence. So yeah,
I know. You mentioned it last week. You said you were going to close, next day. So that's why I was asking. Did you already move some furniture or?
Oh yeah. We shopping and rearranging and trying to just make it livable. So it's.
Do you feel comfortable telling us where in Florida you are, Cabana?
The Tampa
Sarasota
area. How's that?
Okay.
Yeah.
Where?
There you go. Tampa, Sarasota.
Tampa Bay area. 114 Alexander Road, apartment 2B. His phone number, his social security number.
Run, Cabana.
Hey, thank you guys. Appreciate all of you. Cabana, thanks for being here as always. Peace and love. Thanks, guys. Bryce, you rock. Nazi, appreciate you as always. See you guys soon.
See you guys.
See you next week.
All right.
Adios.